Welcome. Thank you for joining me at the table. I'm Thomas Dodderwick, and this week I'm on location at St. Patrick's Co-Cathedral in Billings, where I'm sitting down with Valerie and Sabrina, who are leaders in the Billings Catholic Young Adult group. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
There are a lot of young adult Catholic groups. What makes Billings Young Adult Catholic special?
Well, we had a couple of smaller groups, and I had actually been invited to a couple of them by St. Pius group. And so being invited to theirs, Lexi, who is also a part of this, she had asked me if we should try and get a community-wide. And I think it just kind of expanded from there, and it was a good hit. And
yeah, I think what makes ours so unique is, well, Billings is unique in the sense that we also consider Laurel a part of Billings,
sure.
And then, the surrounding areas. So because we're not designated to a specific parish, we really take in a pretty large population of young adults. Initially, Billings had one young adults group through St. Pius. And her name is Lexi Richards. We don't like to leave her out because she really was the one who founded this group. Mm-hmm. She realized there was a need throughout Billings, not just St. Pius. And so she had this idea to create a Billings young adults group. Well, Lexi is the mother of six children.
Five girls.
So she has a lot on her plate. Mm-hmm. And down the road, Sabrina joined Lexi's meetings and tried to help get things going with the young adults group. And then eventually I hopped in too. And so we don't want to leave her out of this discussion, because I think it is important to notice that she felt this call for this ministry and she said yes, which is so important, and so brave, because it's really hard to say yes sometimes. And so, yeah, she started the group, and Sabrina and I kind of just do it now with the help of Lexi when she can, sure. Aside from her vocation as a mother. And so this young adult ministry is newer. It's been going just for a few years, but we're starting to take it a little bit more seriously now, in the sense that we know that there's a need. We know that there is interest in these fellowships, service, all the events we've already talked about. And so the past few years we've just been kind of experimenting with these events and what it would be successful. I don't want to say by population, but really by population. And also what's successful in the sense of what the ministry calls us to do. Mm-hmm. And so it really has been, like I said, experimental. And so now that we're moving forward, we're really trying to discern what the best direction is. And we've been praying about it. And then we hear about Bishop Fleming and how involved he is with youth and young adult ministry. And it's kind of a little bit of an answered prayer. We have great relationships with the diocese. We have great relationships with our local priests and those who want to support us. But really, there's no direction. And luckily, I think that's something Bishop Fleming can offer us down the road, so that we can reach the other populations, so that we can do more than just the events we've been doing now. We can do something that can really create an impact within our diocese. That's the hope anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you say young adults, what do you mean by that? Because the church defines young adults in a very strange way. How do you define young adults?
We define it 18 to 40 because we really do have young people who are in their 30s, established with children, and people laugh at us when we say that, but at the end of the day, they still are young, between 30 and 40. And I think it was Pope Francis who defined young adult 18 to 40.
How do you find that balance when the work of a young adult group, of course, is ministry? And the ministerial needs of an 18-year-old just entering college and the ministerial needs of a 30-year-old with children are so different. How do you strike that balance? The past few years, we really have ministered to, I would say, probably 18 to 30-year-olds, in particular singles and recently married couples.
So we haven't really seen that 30 up with established families be a part of the group. And I think it's because a lot of times people hear Billings Catholic Young Adults, they just assume they don't need to be a part of the group because they're not single, they're married, they have families. But as we've done more research and a lot more learning about the young adult community, we really do need that population, the 30 and up, because my husband and I met through the Billings Catholic Young Adults, and, we're expecting our first child. And because we're really like the first married couple to come from this group, we don't really have a whole lot of young couples to talk to help us in this new vocation.
Sure.
And maybe we're the start of that, but it's really important we have that direction and that community as well.
Why is ministry to young adults so important, especially in our day and age right now?
We talk about this all the time.
At least once a meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think because we just live in a culture and in a society that tells us everything we believe in is wrong. Everything we stand for is bad. And, Sabrina and I are cousins, so we grew up together, and we have a very large family. And unfortunately, when you have large families, they get divided pretty easily. And unfortunately, evil finds a way into families. And Sabrina and I, our values have remained the same since we were little. We grew up going to catechism together, going to church together. And that's one thing we deal with even just in our personal lives is, well, your belief is wrong, And so I think it's more important than ever because of the way that society has become. Mm-hmm. And Sabrina and I talk about that all the time, how it's really hard to navigate that. We've built a lot of close friendships from this young adult ministry, and it's because we have people our age that have the same core values and beliefs, and that's hard to find nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
How do you grow, being from all of the different parishes in the city and in the surrounding area? How do you grow? How do you reach out to young adults who aren't already plugged in to a parish or who are actively looking for that kind of community?
Well, we have a Facebook page and we have a website. So I don't know how much how much traffic our website gets right now.
I don't either.
But our Facebook page, we have a lot of people who follow that. And I mean, every day we get at least one or two that follow the page and stuff. So that's pretty nice. But I mean, other than that, we just try to post in bulletins and stuff if we're able to. And
we actually get people who tell us they literally Google young adult groups in Billings. And we've had a few non-Catholics who have come to events, and, we welcome them with open arms. But there are people looking for young adults to hang out with and to get to know. And so they literally Google it, and we type up, we pop up, I guess, if you type in young adults Billings, we come up. So that's how some people find us sometimes too.
Yep.
Or like you said, you put in the bulletin, and then we get people that come say, "Oh, my mom made me come."
Yeah,
I found it in the bulletin.
Yeah.
When a new person comes, it can be really intimidating. And so what would you say to somebody who is trying to find a community, but of course is afraid of coming into a community that's already really established and close-knit and even relatives in it? What do you say to somebody who might be a little afraid of that?
The good thing is that like my phone number is all over our Facebook page and website and stuff. So I have a lot of people who actually reach out to me beforehand. So then when they do come to an event, it's very easy just to go up to them and like, hey, like, welcome to our group, and here's so-and-so. And then just trying to find like those matches that you think might click. And it's actually pretty easy. Like a lot of them just like come in and like fit right in. And so it's super nice.
Yeah, they usually like to have that personal connection with Sabrina beforehand. It's a thing with our generation where we text before we do anything. We do everything behind screen. It's not something I think our generation is proud of, but that is something we do. And so I think that gives people the comfort to just say, oh, there's a phone number I can text, and then come into it.
Sure.
And fortunately, most of our events are fellowship based, so it's not hard for them to come in and just realize, oh, this is just a laid back community, just here to hang out. It's nothing. I mean, I think maybe the only super, if you want to call it, for intense event that we have is like our book study. But then again, at the book study, we have icebreakers. We have opportunities for people to get to know each other on a personal level before we dive in to the faith.
Let's talk a little bit about the events that you guys have as a group. You mentioned the book study. I know that you do Theology on Tap. What other kind of things? And even explain a little bit of what Theology on Tap and the book study are.
So Theology on Tap, we host that, a couple times a year. And we usually try to look for speakers who can talk with the young people about something that just they need to hear. They need direction. And usually we meet at CJ's here in town, and it's a great, again, fellowship opportunity because people can order food, they can order drinks, and sit down and listen to a speaker. Yeah, we just really try to take opportunity of speakers who can speak to young adults about something that they might need to hear or need direction on.
Sure.
So our book study we usually do in the fall. We try not to make it too super lengthy. We kind of find a shorter book to read. But like Val said, we do an icebreaker beforehand. We have everybody read the books before they get there, so that way we can just kind of come in and talk about it.
Shop.
Yeah. We usually meet at Mazevo here in town to discuss the book and stuff. And we've gone over on our time before just because the conversations just get super good and super deep and stuff, and it's really nice to hear some of the insights from other young adults in our community that they have based off of a book that we read. And then usually a week or two after, we always do our annual priest appreciation dinner. So that's always fun. We get all the priests and all of our religious together, and we serve them dinner because they serve us all year round, and they continue to support us. And so it's always really nice to do our book study and then just follow it up with an appreciation dinner for all of the religious in town. So
Are the book study and the priest dinner and Theology on Tap the only kind of events you guys do?
No, we do service through Salvation Army and St. Vincent de Paul. So with Salvation Army, it's usually meal prep or sandwich making. St. Vincent de Paul, it depends on what their need is and how we serve them, but we try to do service. Sometimes we serve with the Audubon Center. I haven't personally gone to any of those. Have you?
We haven't. I did, but we haven't done it in a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
But we planted trees for them. We were there for a whole from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, and we just worked our butts off and we planted a bunch of trees for them. So that was super nice.
Then recently we had a praise and worship night. So Father Pankratz led us in adoration and benediction, and we just sang while we were in adoration together. We also did pizza with the priests, which was fun, where we just invited them to Mackenzie River and just had some pizza with them. So it's kind of interesting how we plan events, because we kind of just see how the year looks and kind of take it month by month and just this sounds fun. And you've been inviting people lately too.
Yeah, we do our summer barbecue. Depends on which month we do, depending on how busy everybody is, but we always do a summer barbecue and then our Christmas party. Oh yeah. We have a Christmas party every year, so that's super fun.
The other thing we like to do too is help the Knights of Columbus with their fish fries. We usually do a couple of those during the Lent season, help out with those.
If somebody's interested in being part of the group, that sounds like a whole lot of stuff going on. Do they have to go to every one of these kind of meetings to be in the group?
No, absolutely not. We try to that's, I mean, like Val said, we try to do at least every couple of months, if not every month, try to plan at least one thing, just to kind of keep people involved and still kind of close with everybody and stuff. So,
what is your web address? What is your Facebook? How can they find you on that? If you want to offer your phone number, even if there's a young adult out there who's interested, how can they find you?
So our website is, I can't remember the website.
It's www.billingscya.com.
And then Facebook is just Billings Catholic Young Adults. And then my phone number is 406-694-3180. So feel free to reach out and
Blow up her phone.
Yes, do it. I'm ready.
Valerie and Sabrina, I appreciate you taking time today to sit down and talk about the Billings Catholic Young Adult Group
Thank you.
and
Thank
the
you.
ministry you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please keep us in your prayers.